Greetings, GameCola faithful, and welcome to podcast number 36. Yes, we're on our 36th podcast. With me today is Paul Franzen, Nathaniel Hoover, and Christian Porter, longtime GameCola podcast veterans. Everyone, introduce yourselves for those who may not have listened to the other 35 podcasts.
Hi, I'm Christian Porter.
In the order of Paul Franzen, Nathaniel Hoover, and Christian Porter, please introduce yourselves.
We should just do that beforehand. Set the order. Okay, anyway. Hi, I'm Paul Franzen. I'm GameCola's founder and editor-in-chief. I write the column Minus the Pudding, the best of Xbox Live indie games, and I off and on update the news section with stuff that I'm interested in.
Nathaniel.
Hi, I'm playing Progress Quest. I'm Nathaniel Hoover. I write the Flash Flood column that hasn't appeared on GameCola for a good long time, and do the Sprite Flicker comic, which also hasn't been on GameCola for a while. And I write about videos and other things that people don't read. It's awesome.
And I'm Christian Porter. I went to PAX out of the kindness of my heart for GameCola, and I haven't written a whole lot since.
How was that?
It was fun. It was very large and a good time with a lot of lines, but fun.
Yeah, you got some hands-on time with the 3DS, correct?
I did, although now I guess a lot of other people have too.
Yes.
But I went there, I played it, got the headache, didn't care.
Wow, how was it? What did you play?
I played Pilot Wings Resort.
Whoa, Pilot Wings.
It was boring, which is kind of sad because I played the light plane and the rocket belt, and truth be told, I don't know if I was in the menu or if I was playing the game. I was just kind of flying around an island, and the 3D looked great, but it was boring.
Wow.
I feel like that's the story with a lot of the 3DS launch titles.
Yeah.
The 3D is great, but the game is boring.
That seems to be it.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they let me check out the those AR things that they have. I'm interested in that. I'm curious about it.
Assault rifles?
Assault rifles. They have Nintendo assault rifles.
Whoa.
Yeah, Nintendo's trying to get away from their kiddie image. They're actually including, like, an actual assault rifle with each system.
Wow.
They want to appeal to the gang market. They realize they've tapped, like, soccer moms, old people, young people, but the Crip demographic hasn't really been tapped.
The 3DS.
So could you explain to me how this 3 dimensions works, and grammar while you're at it?
Explain grammar to him.
Because I've seen a couple of pictures of the unit itself, and I don't see any 3D glasses, and my brain can't handle any other form of 3 dimensions. So please, explain how it works.
I have to admit, it works like magic. It works really well. It just pops right out at you. It's like looking into a diorama.
That makes perfect sense. Do you stare between the screens, or are you just looking at the one screen?
The top screen's the only one in 3D.
Okay. And
you just
pops
look at
out
that.
you.
Yeah, and it's just popping out. It's like you're playing inside a diorama.
Okay, see, that helps, because this entire time I was looking at the 2 screens and thinking that there was some sort of nonsensical, you bend the system in a certain way and unfold it halfway, and then you look at the bottom screen and the top screen at the same time, and the
Or it's
image
like a
is
magic eye.
the effect.
I don't know exactly how it works. It worked very well, though, but thankfully there is a button to turn it off, though, which I'd imagine at this point in time is probably where most of them are because everyone else has decided they don't want to get massive headaches.
The 3DS. So it actually does have 3D.
It actually does.
Wow.
Well, Jetty, before we get too much further, I believe we skipped over something here.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Somebody actually emailed us.
Yay.
Somebody actually emailed podcast@gamecola.net. They emailed podcast@gamecola.net, and because they emailed us at podcast@gamecola.net, we're going to read it live on the podcast.
Wait, how did they get it to you? How did they get this, like, communication to you?
They went on their computer, they opened their email client, and then they emailed podcast@gamecola.net.
Well, I'll be damned.
I know, right? No one else has seemed to have realized this.
It's amazing what computers can do these days.
I know, right?
Alright, here's our first ever actual legitimate email. It comes to us from RizzyMan33, who we've actually heard from before on the GameCola YouTube page. And he writes, Hey there, GameCola staff. RizzyMan33 here, and I have an idea to make your podcasts a little more interesting. My sister also has one, too. My idea. You guys can stage an argument and use the Ace Attorney quotes. Objection, hold it, take that, gotcha, eureka, and not so fast. It might bring a whole lot more viewers and actually make your followers listen to the entire podcast.
Thanks.
Oh.
I really don't know what to say to that, because part of it was, hey, maybe this will make it better, because it sucks now.
Well, it's not like we haven't said that ourselves before.
That's true. I'm not
But why
saying I
haven't we
disagree.
done anything about it? If we're saying it ourselves, why haven't we done anything?
We totally did. We changed the whole format of the podcast.
I love it. I think it's great.
And actually, I actually received an email to that effect as well in my own personal account.
Whoa.
But before I get to that, let me finish Rizzyman's email. So that was his idea. His sister idea was, well, hi. My idea... My idea is that all of you say your favorite games and have a discussion on how it related or relates to you now. Then have a debate on which game rules as GameCola's favorite. Then you might get some viewers. I don't know if I like the tone of this email.
Then maybe someone will give a rat's ass about you.
I'll have you all know that I was just looking at the YouTube channel earlier today to see how many views the last podcast got there. It was up to like 40. That's right.
Sorry, half of those were just me refreshing the page.
Fine, it was up to 20.
Oh, also, thanks, Mom and Dad, for always watching the GameCola podcast on YouTube.
So that's that. Would we like to discuss this further? Our favorite games and how they relate to us now. I guess is the assumption there that our favorite games are necessarily
Well, we can't
older
very well
games?
get our we can't very well get our first email and then say no, we're not doing that.
Objection.
But didn't we
Hey, I
already
just
discuss
fulfilled the first part?
the top 50 ways to talk over Nathaniel when he's trying to mumble? Didn't we already discuss the top 50 games that GameCola top 50'd at one point?
That was like a year ago. Yes.
Well, see, I think they're saying a little more in-depth,
And on a
You know,
personal level too,
like
I
actually,
think they're
yeah.
looking for.
Actually, I believe the discussion following that list, spoiler alert, the game that the whole staff voted as number one of all time was Portal. And I believe the discussion following that was that practically nobody said that Portal was their personal favorite game of all time.
No, actually, nobody said it.
Nobody. Okay.
It wasn't number one on anyone's list, but it was top 5 on a lot.
So right now, what's everyone's favorite game? Go.
Chrono Trigger.
Christian.
Earthbound.
Jetty.
what is my favorite game?
We could probably look it up for you.
Cheetah Men 2.
Showaniki.
What?
Wait, I think it was Water Closet, right?
It's that water closet
Oh.
game. Yeah.
Yikes. No, actually, it's been a long time since I thought about it. I would probably say, let's go with Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh. Interesting choice.
Yeah, it's a classy game.
And as for me, I think this is what I voted for in our ranking last year. Curse of Monkey Island. Probably not a big surprise to anyone.
Really?
It did rank higher than Phoenix Wright.
Take that!
Well, now I guess it's time to argue because we're all a bunch of alpha males here.
Mine's better.
No, me.
See,
Earthbound
it
is
would be worth
stupid.
arguing over if one of us had said Chrono Trigger and the other one had said Final Fantasy VI, games that typically are at odds for the number one spot.
Yeah.
But these are all things that we could very easily have put on our top 5 list together, and no one would say anything about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like people would say something about mine. I
Explain it to us, Paul.
How does it relate to you?
How does it relate to me?
Well, that was the question.
Yeah, it was the original question, wasn't it? I don't know. How do you think that's meant? Does it relate to me? I play it, and I like it.
I never really
Well-
have understood questions like that a lot of times because I don't know.
It's like an
I
interview
just
question.
enjoy it.
Like,
Yeah, it
what
is.
does the game mean to me in my life? Like, not. I mean, it's a game that I really enjoyed.
Well, here,
It's entertaining.
Paul. While you're flailing, Paul, let me jump in, because I can actually answer this for Chrono Trigger. Because Chrono Trigger is really everything that I look for in a video game, that it's got memorable characters and character designs and bosses. It's got a fair, solid challenge that continues to grow as the game progresses. It's got a great learning curve. It's highly replayable. So all of these things are just in general, and fantastic music, wonderful graphics that still hold up today. Just all around things that I look for in a video game, but on a story level, I am very much into science fiction. I think time travel is a very cool concept. I am very much into I don't know about the ragtag band of heroes, but the sort of unconventional heroes that Chrono Trigger brings out. These people are so different that you have a cave woman alongside a science nut, alongside the silent swordsman, and all of these other characters that are running around together. And the story, when I first played the game, back when I was in elementary or middle school, somewhere around there, long time ago, not so long, I fell in love with the story because it was the first game that I remember that actually made me care about the characters and be genuinely interested in what happens to them. So, to me, that's the meaning of how it relates to me.
You mean you're not interested in what happens to Mario and the princess?
I never liked Mario all that much. I mean, I've liked some of the games that came after the first one, but I was never a huge Mario fan.
Wait, are you talking about, you're talking Mario the character, or?
In general, yeah.
I have a deep emotional bond, and to me it is very important that he go to that other castle and find the princess.
I actually always liked Luigi better.
Yes!
In fact, to the point where when I would play Mario World, which is how I pronounce it.
Out in Paul land.
Over here in Mario World, when I used to play that, I would actually start the game with both characters, and I would get Mario killed off immediately so I could just play as Luigi.
Because you're a wonderful person.
And I think I just liked it because he was green. I don't think it really went any deeper than that.
But see, I have to agree with Nathan that,
What? Who? Who are we letting on to
He
this
meant the Hoover Dam, I believe.
Nathaniel, sorry. Nate, if you will.
And Dog.
And Hooves.
And Doug's pass.
The Hoofmeister. Oh.
We can go with Endo.
Nathaniel. I agree with Nathaniel.
Oh.
That this would be more interesting if we had a bunch of people who really liked RPGs, because those tend to actually have characters that you care about and such. I mean, if we remember, was it the last podcast that somebody said something about Final Fantasy VII?
We had a letter about that, I believe.
The end of Disc 1 will make you cry?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, it totally didn't for me, but that's just because it was all spoiled to me like 5 years before I even started playing it.
What, you mean the part about Aerith dying?
Ah! I unmuted my microphone just to go blah on you.
I actually can't get sad at that part anymore because I noticed an error in it, and it bugs me every time I see it.
Yeah.
That little pond that he's in, that he lays Aerith's body to rest in, he like kind of walks into it. It's like ankle deep, and he puts her in, and then they cut to that scene where the camera's like 20,000 leagues under it, shooting up at her, and he's nowhere to be seen. It's not ankle deep anymore. It's like the ocean. So I just look at that. Maybe it's my film school dork in me, but it bugs me now every time I see it.
Well then.
Before we move on to the next topic, I just wanted to quickly breeze through the other couple comments and letters and whatnot that we received.
Did they come to podcast@gamecola.net?
No, but as I stated, I received one in my personal email account.
Oh.